everyone. Happy Monday. Welcome back to Faith Family Focus. I am your co-host, Faith Suggs, former Duke women's basketball graduate and current CEO and founder of Brand by Faith, a social media branding company dedicating to telling the stories of our viewers and our clients. This wonderful man next to me is my father, Schaefer Suggs, former FPO player with the New York Jets and the Cincinnati Bengals. And
what kind of player?
You take the intro today.
You say that so many times. So, formerly of the New York Jets and Cincinnati Bengals, also on the executive board of the NFLPA, also our non-for-profit arm, retired professional football players from Chicago, RPFPC, former president. Welcome.
You're also on the executive board. We always say that. But yeah, no, welcome. Happy Monday. Wow, what a day. Selection Sunday has came and gone. I cannot believe we are here at March 14th, and just 2 years ago, the world shut down.
Right.
Crazy.
We're approaching our 2-year anniversary. That's kind of hard to believe, isn't it?
No. I've
wow.
been here for all of it. 2 years next month, I believe.
2 years in April 16th, right?
Something like that, yeah.
But it is so nice, Faith, to be able to talk about the NCAA and not have to worry about teams not being able to play because of COVID. Wondering if we're going to play or not. So it is. I'm really looking forward to this tournament because there's so much more parity this year. I know you said you're going to boycott Gonzaga. You were not going to boycott Gonzaga because right now they might be top seed, but we can get into that.
Well, I'm looking at it. That's what I'm saying. Of course, I don't know. I said Gonzaga always has an easy way.
Yeah.
That's the thing that I can't.
They've never won a national championship, have they?
Yeah, they did last year.
Did they win last year? Okay. Yeah. With of course. I remember now.
Yeah, what on earth?
I know. I had a brain lock.
Yeah, and while we're talking, I'm just making sure I have that stuff set up so we can just look at from there, maybe clearer than how we normally do things. But what's new? How's the weather in Chicago? Are we finally into spring yet?
Yeah, so we spring ahead, right?
Yeah, we didn't know that happened.
We're going to have a couple pleasant days. So I'm looking forward to that. The weather's going to start breaking. So I'm looking forward to that. It's I always like, I got a chance to watch some high school basketball. The Bolingbrook's boys and girls basketball teams made it to the Final Four. So I always like this time of the year. It brings me back to the time not that long ago when you guys went to the Sweet 16. And on Facebook, a lot of the memories come up from those years. That was 2018, wasn't it? 2018 when you guys did
18, yeah.
Yeah, which was a really fun year. I remember that. So I'm excited about March Madness. Other news, of course, we'll talk about Brady coming back.
But did we expect anything else?
I know.
And I don't blame him. You can't go out a loser.
Right.
Well, it's hard to after you win for so long, it's really hard to quit. But you know what I mean? Like, it's like when you leave the basketball court, you got to leave on a make.
Yeah. You know what, Faith? If I had the physical ability to continue to play and people wanted me, I would have played. I don't know how guys stop playing like what Jim Brown did, like Barry Sanders, those guys who had still a lot more fuel in the tank.
I'll say this, you didn't have kids while you were playing, nor a family.
True.
You got to always...
You know what? I guarantee the kids probably had more... they would probably struggle with him not playing. I think they liked the idea that he was playing and they got a chance to be a part of that life because the transition sometimes really impacts families. I know a lot of guys who stop playing football, it changes the family dynamics a little bit. When you're used to a certain lifestyle, of course, he doesn't have to worry about a different lifestyle anyway.
Yeah, I'm looking at you right now.
I know, right? I forgot who he's married to.
Well, you got to remember, he misses football games. He misses probably class presentations. He misses a whole bunch of stuff. So
Yeah.
you never know. You know what I mean? He moved to Tampa Bay to be in a warmer climate and honestly just a better lifestyle, similar to how LeBron James did this year. I mean, not this year, a couple years ago with moving to Los Angeles. So
Right.
we've seen a lot of guys do that, but sometimes the balance is still hard to maintain. And that's why you see a lot of guys, and also we saw a lot of guys. I mean, Aaron Donald, we don't know if he's officially called out his retirement yet, but it's been a conversation I know amongst his peers, and it wasn't supposed to go public, but it did, but that he might want to retire. I mean, he's already achieved it all, right? Super Bowl MVP, Super Bowl ring. People fear you. You're on top.
I would have a hard time. I would have a hard time. We just really quick on our RPFPC, our new podcast, by the Face Mask. Our first episode was when the lights go off and how difficult that transition had to be. So we talked about that. It's really a challenge, and making that transition. But these guys, they make so much money. It's just insane how much more money that these guys make compared to even 10 years ago.
Right. Well, yeah, and you can't help but think about, like, if I have $30 million in the bank and investments in, if they're talking about, all right, training camp is on the, you know what I mean? I've done it 6-7 years. I've already had a pretty long career.
Yeah.
I don't see. I mean, that's me. You know what I mean? It's like, if you want to play, you play. But like, if you have the opportunity to then travel the world comfortably, no bang and bruises and tears and stuff like that, some guys will take it. I'm sure.
Yeah.
Especially when you're talking about you already have $30 million in your bank.
Well, you probably have more than that. We're talking about quality of life too, family. Like I said, I would love, when you guys were little, I would really struggle missing that part of my life. Yeah. Watching you guys grow up, I would really, really struggle. That was, to me, people say, well, what's the best part of your life? That was probably one of the best parts of my life, is growing up and being a part of your lives, going to games, and coaching, and just all of that stuff. You can't, that's invaluable stuff, So.
Right. Well, it's memories that you can't actually do over.
Right. But I would love to, you guys be old enough, be young enough to be able to go to one of my games, right? And watch me play. Say, that's my dad out there playing. That's what Brady has, right?
Yeah, I've heard a lot of pro athletes have that dream.
Yeah.
A lot do. You just were one of them who didn't. It's your life. You lived it. But here we are, obviously. It worked
out. I'm wearing this, right?
Yes, I was just about to ask.
It should be Yale basketball. Right.
Please yell at us. Yell at us why you're wearing that shirt. Because I was just about to ask you, why are you wearing that shirt? Go ahead.
Because Yale basketball team made it into the tournament. Right?
They did. I wonder if your son went or he's been paying attention.
They didn't even have one of those watch parties. I didn't see them. Princeton.
They had an automatic bid.
Yeah, I know.
They don't need one.
Right.
An automatic bid.
Yeah, but some of the automatic bids. What is she winning about?
I think she thinks she's the winner. I think she thinks that she has the Final Four.
Oh, okay. Oh, she's going to have the assumptive mode that she's going to win it. Right? Okay, we'll see.
Sounds like a Suggs thing.
Okay.
But no, wow. I'm just thinking back. I saw something the other day. I'm still looking at snow out my window, but today's supposed to be 6 to 7 degrees. What's new? Okay, Tom Brady coming back to football, retirement over. He pulled a Michael Jordan. But as we really break this down, Michael Jordan is ridiculous. He retired, left.
Play baseball
for a big period of time. Yes, it wasn't like Tom Brady did 2 months. This man, Michael Jordan, rebranded himself. Put in a different sport. Tried to play with a different sport. Then came back on a different team. Then eventually,
Yes.
Yeah, he's that. He is.
He's a unique individual. So.
He is. And I guess there's a few things that I want to discuss in regards to basketball I don't know if you've seen that they dropped a new Lakers show. It's a show about how the beginning of kind of it starts off when they drafted Magic and when
Right.
Jerry bought the team. And it's really I would suggest to anybody it's really good. And it reminds me, NBA wasn't all that. Right? It was not all that. The Lakers and the Boston Celtics changed the NBA. So hopefully WNBA, right? Or only 26 years into the season, about coming up on the 26th season of the WNBA. Wow. Hopefully we're seeing some changes.
Did you say they dropped the show or the show is coming out?
They've already dropped it. We watched the second episode already.
So, okay, I'm into the terms. Drop means they
dropped
got
is to make it happen now.
Okay.
Yeah, like on TV. They dropped it onto TV. What did you mean?
I'm catching up. Okay. All right. So like my new hit dropped, right? Okay, I got you. They dropped it.
So you knew what it was. You just wanted to be extra.
Okay.
Okay, so we watched a lot of basketball this week, all that stuff. How were you? How'd you enjoy it? What is your favorite thing you've watched so far? Because I think I probably watched 10 conference tournaments across the board, men and women. Michaela Boykin, former guest on the show, they won the Conference USA over there at Charlotte. They won the tournament championship, so we'll see her on the women's side. But I watched a lot of tournaments from the beginning of the ACC that kicked it off about 2 weeks ago to yesterday closing out the SEC men's and women's. Upsets across.
Well, I'm gonna start out with. So, what do I think? I thought there was some really good games.
Yeah.
The Indiana game, Iowa game was pretty phenomenal. It might have been one of the better ones. I was impressed by Purdue until they got beat by Iowa. There's good basketball there. The Ivy kid is really special. He's a good batter. He can be out of control a little bit, but he's a player. But I'm going to go ahead and give you my four. I got Gonzaga, I got Arizona, I got Iowa, and I got Kansas.
Wait, okay. You said you got Gonzaga, of course.
You got Arizona, I got Kansas, and Iowa.
Iowa? Who do you have on the women's side?
I have Baylor. I have Louisville. I have UConn. And I have Stanford. UConn is going to surprise some people.
Okay, so you didn't watch any games this year because Baylor lost last night to Texas.
I know.
With digits. Louisville lost multiple times in the ACC.
So who do you have?
Not win. Men's side. Kansas. Tennessee.
Ooh, that's a good one too.
Kentucky. And I think that after Duke losing in the ACC championship game, they're going to be able to get out of Gonzaga's region.
Duke?
They're on the same side. So Duke and if all goes well, Duke and Gonzaga would play in the Elite Eight.
Who does Virginia Tech play? I mean, who does Virginia Tech play first?
Virginia Tech's not going to win anything. I already know that. I know that. No, I know that, and I'm very excited for them to have won the ACC tournament. But if you watch Virginia Tech, you know it's no. They play.
Wait, you don't have Gonzaga?
Nope.
Okay.
No, I don't think Timmy is what he was. You can't have Virginia Tech on here anyways. Oh, Virginia Tech has Texas first. And then they got to play either Purdue or Yale. So Purdue. So yeah. But no, that's what my men. I have Kansas, Tennessee's a sleeper, Kentucky has been there, and Duke.
Wow. I think you
On
just
the women's side, I have Stanford, Arizona, South Carolina, and then I have Louisville. Even though I didn't want to put them there, they have an easy way.
Wait a minute. I'm going to replace Louisville for South Carolina. I had a brain lock. I'm sorry.
Wait, what?
I had a brain lock. Yeah.
Okay, hold on one second. Okay, you can't replace them. They don't play on the same side. Are you hearing what I'm saying?
Okay, so but I didn't have South Carolina. Who do I have on
Well,
South?
who do you want? You don't want Louisville in it?
No.
Okay, so Louisville side, these are the teams that could beat Louisville. Albany, Nebraska, Gonzaga, Oregon, Belmont, Tennessee, Buffalo, BYU, Villanova, Michigan, American,
I'm
Ole
going to
Miss,
go with
South
Michigan.
Dakota, Baylor, or Hawaii.
I'm going to go with Baylor. I'll stay with Baylor.
Okay, yeah, you need to look over here.
I can't see it because. Hold on. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I don't. I don't think Louisville was gonna. I just don't. I don't. They didn't impress me when I watched them play.
So I don't see any. I don't see anybody posting anything yet. So let's see how we go.
Well, okay. So tell me why you picked Kansas.
I think that they're playing the best basketball at the end of the season. Um, they did have an injury, though, didn't they?
No.
The one kid, the one guard.
I don't know. Okay, so here's we have one. Gonzaga, yep. Kansas, North Carolina, Arizona. Who's on North
North
Carolina's
Carolina.
bracket?
North Carolina.
North Carolina has to get past Shaka Smart and Marquette. Then they'll see Baylor and Norfolk State.
Because you might want to rethink that.
I'm trying to think. God, honestly though, I don't think Baylor's gonna make it to the Final Four. I've said this to people. But do I think North Carolina's gonna be the one to bop Baylor? I don't know. In the second round? God, I bet they wish they won.
Well, I can tell you before Virginia Tech beat North Carolina and Duke. Why did that happen? It was just
it was tournament season.
Okay. All right.
But Virginia Tech always beats Duke. We always lose to them at least once or twice a year. Okay, that's a good one. We'll write that down to save that. So she had Gonzaga, Kansas, Tar Heels, and Arizona. Yeah, everyone keeps saying Arizona, which is very impressive for Arizona considering they have rebranded their entire program within the last 3 years.
Right.
Okay, so why did you pick Gonzaga? Why Gonzaga? You?
Because I to be honest with you, I had not seen them play.
That's the thing.
That's
always my thing. But the reason why people always pick Gonzaga is because they always win and go blow through that conference, they always have a pretty decent path to the championship.
And I guess that's probably why, because they'll get there just because of that.
Well, okay.
Now, who will they win it? I don't know.
Okay, hold on. Let's read through who they have to get past. So Gonzaga will beat Georgia State, no question. Then they have to play Memphis or Boise State, which it should be Memphis if Memphis is because they're on a high right now. And if they beat Memphis, they either play the winner of UConn and Arkansas. And if they see UConn, yeah, Gonzaga actually doesn't have an easy path this year. And who does have the easiest path?
What happened with? Okay, I want to ask you this question. What happened with Auburn?
What do you mean?
No one's talking about Auburn anymore. What happened with them?
Were they a 3 seed? Yeah.
But no one's picking them to be in the Final Four.
I didn't ever think they were that good.
No one is, though.
I didn't think they were that good to begin with. I thought they were good. I didn't think they were. That post player they have that was at North Carolina, he's really good. Okay. But I don't know. I'm looking at the bracket to see their path. I don't see them on here. Oh, they play Jacksonville State, then they play USC or Miami. They have a decent way too. Auburn may get to the Elite Eight. I wouldn't put that past Bruce Pearl. I would not put that past Bruce Pearl. Okay, so you picked Kansas and I agree. I think Kansas is always playing the best basketball around this time of season, but I think they really figured out the niche. Like they figured out what is going to get them to the Final Four. You said Gonzaga. Gonzaga, when I watched them lose to St. Mary's, it just seemed they were a step behind St. Mary's. Mind you, St. Mary's is a good team, and they're in the tournament. But I really think that in their top 25 team, they were in the top 25 to end the season. But I really think that it's hard. I don't understand. How can you go the whole season not having a really hard time in a really hard conference? Say you're in the Big 12 ACC. I mean, the Big 12 has 5 teams in it, 2 on the same side, right? So it's like when I look at Gonzaga, I'm thinking, okay, they're gonna either have to come across Memphis, UConn, Duke, all to get to the Final Four. That's a really hard path after only playing a couple top 25 teams plus 20. And then you haven't played top 10 teams since early this season,
Mm-hmm.
And then you picked Iowa. I don't know why.
They're playing good basketball. I always have a strong believer of the team that has the strong finish, the momentum going into the tournament, has an edge. I mean,
Right.
they beat. I mean, of course, the Indiana game was. I mean, actually, they were down by 7 points. Indiana just gave them away.
Well, it's hard when when you haven't been in too many close games throughout the season, and then you get in close games all of a sudden. Okay, so you picked Iowa. Who's I do like that player, that guy they have, the guard.
Well, they have twins, brothers.
Yeah. Yes, I do see that. I did. Well, no comment. Yes, I did, and then I say that.
What did you say? No comment for?
Because I don't think they were that great. But yes, they're good. I don't. Here's my thing again about a team like Iowa, a team like a Wisconsin, a team like who we've seen have those long femur guards. But
Femur?
Yeah, like you can tell when they have a long femur, their movement is different. Like Becca.
Okay.
So yeah, like some people are long and lanky and fast, and some are long, lanky, and long and lanky. So you can either it's the difference between running a 1-3-1 and you're in half court. It's very different. My only issue with them is, can they keep up with who's on their side of the bracket? Right? The Big Ten is significantly known for being slower paced. Purdue pushed that idea. Illinois pushed that idea. But the style of play in the Big Ten is a slower pace. It's just what it is. Iowa has to see Richmond fast. Providence fast. Other than that, they had a pretty easy way. But I don't know. That's my only thing. That is my only thing. Can style of play be something they're consistent with within the tournament? You can't play the way the Big Ten plays. You're playing against, looks like Big East, which was one of the fastest conferences,
Right.
So that's my only thing with them. Okay, so my group though, yeah, I had a Bob Arizona. No, I didn't. I want Kansas, Tennessee, Kentucky, Duke. I want Duke to beat Gonzaga. I want Duke to make it to the Final Four. I think they have a pretty easy way. If they don't win and get to the Final Four, they're not as good as we hyped them up to be prior to the season.
I think they're too young.
Those losses, they're always young.
Yeah.
They're always young. When is Duke not young? So can't use that excuse anymore.
That's true.
We can't.
But their youth right now is what's hurting them right now, and they don't have a good 3-point shooter,
which is sad. Well, my thing is, why does Pablo Banchero keep trying to shoot threes? Why, like, you're 6'9" guard. Go post them up. Never mind. Okay, so then we have Kentucky. I think Kentucky, I like them. I do, but I also like John Calipari.
Yeah.
I think he's just been there. And that says a lot. When I'm looking at Tennessee play Kentucky and say they're both in the Final Four, I know Kentucky's going to beat Tennessee because I know Kentucky has been there. You know what I mean? So it's kind of one of those things. And then I picked Tennessee because they really impressed me yesterday in the SEC games. They did.
Look, I have to ask you a question. Did Kansas State beat Iowa State this year?
Yeah, Kansas State beat Iowa State.
Did Kansas State beat TCU?
Yes. But TCU beat Kansas State. Iowa State beat TCU. Iowa State beat.
So they split, right?
No. Kansas State, I don't know who beat who. But here's the thing about the Big 12. The Big 12 is the hardest conference this year. They have 7 teams in it, I believe. 5 to 7 teams. Let me see. They've got TCU for sure. I know they have Texas. I know they have Texas Tech. I know they have Kansas. I'm trying to look. Who else am I missing? I think that's it. Iowa State. So they have 5, which we knew was going to happen, right?
Yeah.
And that always goes down to my discussion with you is it stinks because there's better teams probably at 6th and 7th spot on the Big 12 than there is in the Big 10 or the SEC bringing people in, or even the ACC who was really low this year, And then you have these play-in games. So, the play-in games are Notre Dame, Rutgers, Texas A&M, I think it's Coastal Christian or CC, versus Texas Southern. So there's our HBCU. Wright State versus Bryant. Shout out to NEC. And then Wyoming and Indiana. So Indiana has a plan, kind of. Yeah, it is kind of. We'll call it that. Now, Indiana played well in the Big Ten tournament, correct? That's what I have been told, and that's what I witnessed.
The Big Ten tournament.
Yeah. It's very interesting that they're still at the 12th seed and they're playing. It is very interesting. Okay. So let's talk a little bit of the women's side. We saw South Carolina lose to women Kentucky in the SEC tournament in the championship game. South Carolina lost their point guard early this season to an ACL. I like South Carolina. I think Aaliyah Boston is a dominating force in the post, like Dawn Staley's posts always are. I don't know if they can do it, though. I don't know if they can beat. Their bodies have to go up against Miami or South Florida, always hard. Arizona. Yeah, there's no way. I can't see this. You're going against the defending national champion runner-ups. I mean, I don't know. I want Dawn to succeed. I really do, but I don't know. And then Louisville, you know me, I don't know. I do not know. It's very hard because everybody beat everybody this year, either in the non-conference, on Thanksgiving tournaments, within conference. I don't know. So who do you think is going to win the whole thing on the women's side?
Stanford.
Yeah, I think so too. They have an older team.
Older, they have everything.
Yeah.
And they have history. They've been there before.
Many times.
I really don't think you should sleep on UConn, Faith.
Okay, so Paige Beckers, since coming back from her injury, has been playing 6.9 points, averaging 6.9 points per game in comparison to her original 9-point plus, which is not a surprise, right? To close out of the Big East, they won the Big East. They played Villanova in the championship game. My only thing is, I don't think they're the same UConn team we have seen, regardless of their not. And all I'm saying is that I think there's people on their side of the bracket that are better than them. And that's all I'm saying on the women's side. Because here's the thing, now, why do you think they're going to win or make it to the Final Four?
Because of history. And they've been there before. There's a couple of other teams. Iowa and Indiana can go pretty far too.
Yeah. Okay, so my thing about UConn on their side of the bracket, they have to play UCF after they beat Mercer.
Mm-hmm.
If you know anything about the UCF-UConn rivalry in a way, when UConn was in the American with UCF.
American Conference.
UCF beat them. That was like their biggest rival. They saw them in championship game. So UConn's got to see them, right? Year after they've been in the Big East. Iowa, Caitlin Clark, cool. But Iowa's not good. Caitlin Clark's good. I've been saying this. I'm sorry. Iowa's good. Caitlin Clark's amazing. There's a big difference. You got to have multiple amazing pieces to go to the Final Four on the women's side. Indiana. You want Indiana to win.
No, I would say they're playing well.
Well, they play Michaela Boykin first round. So okay. We can't root for Indiana. But Charlotte's playing Indiana. Let's see what else.
Iowa's not bad either.
Okay, so here's my thing. NC State, okay? NC State's the number 1 seed on UConn's side in their region. That's my thing. NC State is good.
Yeah.
They're always good. We have yet to see them make it to past the Sweet 16 though.
Yeah.
To the Elite 8, I believe. So, I don't know. You can hold this UConn torch if you want. I refuse. I'm not going to. I'm not going to. I'm not going to. I have to root for all ACC teams involved. North Carolina.
Next week, this time, we'll be talking about the, 32 teams left? Or 16? 16 teams.
Yeah.
All right.
My assistant called out Sweet 16. But yeah, so I don't know. So your Final Four teams is Gonzaga, Arizona, Kansas, Iowa.
Gotcha. Okay.
I think that's so gross that you have Iowa in there.
Hey, I'm not going for popularity. I'm going for what I see. They're playing well.
You said from what you see.
Right.
Okay. I got Tennessee.
Okay.
I got them in my bracket in my Final Four.
Okay. I want to pivot back to controversy I had with 2 individuals yesterday about the Big Ten. Okay, why is the Big Ten? They have the most teams in the tournament, but they're the least successful in their tournaments. They haven't won a national championship in 20 years.
Wait, you said they have the most teams in the tournament this year?
Yes, they do. They have 10 or 11.
Okay, wait a second. We have to count. So they got Michigan State for sure. I remember seeing that.
They have 10 or 11 at least.
Indiana as a play-in. Purdue.
Michigan State. Michigan.
I said Michigan State already. I got Michigan. Illinois. You got 5.
Iowa.
6, Dad.
Rutgers.
Oh, yeah. They're playing 7.
Let's keep going.
That's
Michigan
it.
State.
I said them already. 7.
Purdue.
I said them already. 7. Once again, you over-exaggerated the number. It's
No, there's more. They have – hold
on. Going down.
So
Michigan State. Purdue.
Okay.
Indiana. Rutgers. Iowa. Michigan. Illinois. 7. You cannot have 10 teams in a conference. Wisconsin. I don't see Wisconsin.
Wisconsin is in there. Are you kidding me? It's 8.
Who's Wisconsin playing?
Rutgers.
Who is Wisconsin playing? I don't see them on this.
Are you talking about men or women?
Men.
Right. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 2 more teams.
Okay, so I can't, whatever. I'm not going to keep doing this while they're on the show. What was the question?
Why
are they successful? Because okay. I know people don't like to see this, but on the men and women side of Wisconsin, minus how Purdue has played up pace, tried to. What has been the biggest piece of Big Ten teams? What has been the biggest dominating force? Post play, the paint. Okay. Now, when you own the paint, you often aren't able to get down the court like this, like this, like this. ACC, tempo of play, this. Big East, tempo of play, this. Pac-12, this. Right? The Big 12 is fast, right? So all I'm going to say is the Big 10, while extremely talented, has amazing post and paint presence and normally pretty good slashy guards. They have to go up against teams they've never played before every single night and have to be able to be up and down with them. Okay.
They have 9 teams.
Okay. Back to our conversation that we're having.
Okay.
The reason why they're not successful is that the style of play of the Big Ten is slower and just different and more methodical and more up pace. And they call a play before every possession, right? That's not how ACC then call a play. Big 12, never. It's all secondary offense.
They push it. Right? They push it. They push the opportunity. They don't wait to set it up. Okay.
Well, I don't know if they wait or the Big Ten just can't. They have post presence. The paint is dominating for the Big Ten. However, I keep telling people this: if your post player doesn't get down the court fast enough for you to run a secondary offense, which is immediately into a screening game or whatever, you have to go right into a regular play, and that takes 30 seconds of shot clock. Other teams and other conferences aren't doing that. That's not how they do it. And even Purdue, no matter how fast Ivy is, and people keep calling him out of control, he still has to. They still call a play almost every possession. So, like, that's my only thing is they value possessions at a slower pace than other conferences, and that's all I can say. That's all I've ever said about the Big Ten, men and women. It's just different. It's not as fast as, say, the Big 12. It's not as many threes as the Pac-12. It's not as so much transition offense as the ACC. That's just what it is. And you talk about games like this where you play 6 games in a row, right? And think about it. You're playing 6 games in a row. Fast teams, 6 games in a row, your legs, you're exhausted, transition. It's just, if you've never played UConn women's basketball, you wouldn't understand. But UConn women's basketball goes at a different speed as well. They're like an octave faster. South Carolina is an octave faster. When you play teams like that, it's like you're completely disrupted in how you play. And I've always said that about the Big Ten Conference. I just have. And like, at least when I was in the recruiting process, I was like, I don't know if I'd want to play in the Big Ten Conference because they're slower, stronger girls compared to the taller, wiry, faster girls in, say, the SEC or the ACC. So, also, I know I don't have them on my team, but Maryland women are going to go far. They always do. I don't know who they have first.
Marcia Tree is the coach.
She's always a good coach.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
She's always a good coach. Like, they're number 4, and they're in Stanford's region, so that's gonna be a really good game.
I do like Michigan. Of course, I always been a favorite of Michigan's coach. I like them. They kind of push the ball pretty quick, though. They play a different kind of basketball.
Yeah, you ever played against UConn?
No, you have, though.
I have. They take fast to a different level. South Carolina takes fast to a different level. Because you're talking about, like, these are teams that don't dribble. And if they do dribble, it's 2 dribbles till they're into either a layup or a shot.
Right.
So, no. The post player, the big guy who's huge on Purdue. No way. Right. No way. Whatever minutes he's been playing, cut those by 5. No way. No way. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just so, and like, men may be able to keep up, but the question is, can they keep up and still execute? Right? So, I don't know. That's my thing, is that can be my only reason, is that throughout the year, they play at their speed, and then the rest of the year, they have to then play in the tournament at different speeds. And it's so much easier to slow down than it is to speed up. Do you know what I mean?
Right. No, that's a very good point, Faith.
That's just always been my thing. And it's not to like disregard the efforts and the talent of the Big Ten, which I think is kind of ridiculous that they have 9 teams in it, and they're probably going to get floored. But that's the unfortunate situation of the NCAA process, right? You have the committee and the eye tests, and you know what I mean? Like,
who got missed out? Who got missed? Who got looked over? And the Big 12 got looked over. Anybody get in the Big
12?
Oklahoma get looked over?
I would have gave Oklahoma. Even though they're terrible, they were out of Rise. They got Kansas. TCU, Iowa State, Texas Tech, and Texas.
I think the Big 12 has 6 teams.
I know I'm missing somebody.
Kansas.
Texas Tech. I always root for Texas Tech. I really do, but they don't have a single person on their team that's like that guy. Does that make sense?
Okay.
None of them are that guys. Actually, they're all really great role players who play great defense for a really great defensive executing coach. But they don't have that guy. Does that make sense? They don't have one of those, and because they don't have one of those, when it comes down to the wire, it's almost like I don't know if they're going to win or lose because I don't know who's going to make the shot. They're stressful to watch if you've watched them, but their defense is wonderful.
Right.
But I don't know. Baylor is the other team. So I don't know. You just look. It's funny. You look at their conference, Kansas, Baylor.
I was thinking exactly the same thing.
It's just not. It's not fair in a way, but it is.
Yeah.
You just gotta win, right? And that's you gotta win your conference, and then you won't even leave it up to chance.
And then you can't have any lulls in your season too. I mean, that was the analysis on one of the teams that didn't get in. That they finished strong, but then they went back to their body of work in the middle of the season. They lost too. I think that was one of the Big 12 teams that didn't get in. I can't remember what it was.
Probably was. But yeah, that's my thing about the Big Ten is yes, you're right. They always do get those teams in, right? But what we have is Wisconsin the last time we've seen a Big Ten team in the national championship.
Well, they played.
Kaminsky and Decker.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking about, Wisconsin. And I'd be wrong, but I'm just saying that's as a committee, if a Big Ten team doesn't make it to the Final Four this year, we have to adjust in a way because we're giving them opportunities, but these could be opportunities for, somebody else, something along those lines. I just think that something has to be adjusted. Like the fact that Rutgers men, and I like Rutgers men, but the fact that Rutgers men is on a play-in is ridiculous. It's bad. They're good, but not good. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
It's gotta be the money. It's gotta be.
So it's gonna be fun to watch.
No, it is, and I will see, and we'll put up our predictions on the page as well, and what our prize is gonna be. So you said women in Stanford is gonna win it all. I think so too.
I got Stanford, and I'm gonna go with God. I want to go Arizona, but Kansas could win it.
I think Kansas could win it too. I think Kansas, if it's going to be any year within the next 4 years, I think this year is the year Kansas could win it.
Yeah. So let's pivot really quick. I think we talked about that, but I brought something. It is it's a special month, right?
Women's History Month.
Right. Do you remember last year when there was the lens on the disparity in the women's exposure in basketball? I was still watching it. There's a commercial that shows you don't see the picture, but you hear in the background what's going on with the women. Do you see that commercial?
I have.
I want your comment, and you have a lot to say. I can tell by your face.
No, it's a great commercial. I'm just tired of commercials. Make it happen.
Right.
That's where we're at, kind of.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
The commercials were kind of like the first step. We did them last year, guys. So now it's kind of like, okay, this is our first year of March Madness. We're coming up on the 50th anniversary of Title IX. Like, the next step is to watch it. You know what I mean? To put it on TV.
Have you seen a difference, Faith, in the media, though?
I have, and I think I have one because there's more women media speaking up.
Okay.
I did see. I mean, we still see the conversations. A man with like 100,000 followers. He's a lead sports reporter, media guy. He speaks up. He says, he said, I just watched the exact commercial that you're talking about, and he said that The reason women's basketball isn't successful on TV is not because we won't put it on TV. It's because it doesn't have any March Madness to it. There's no excitement, no nothing, right? And for me, it's like he has a daughter. He's a girl dad. There you go. There's that. But it's kind of like, yeah, the conversations are still around it. People still think that they shouldn't watch women's basketball. Like I've had multiple people not fill out a women's bracket compared to a man. That's ridiculous because the women's bracket is always filled with upsets. But giving them March Madness is the bare minimum. That should have happened years ago. Now we're 50 years into Title IX and it's just happening. It took 50 years. You know what I mean? Think about that, right? And so we'll see. You know what I mean? And it really starts with just watching it. WNBA set records with their finals this year. Records. People watching TV. Last year's and the year before, women's March Madness, women's tournament, because it wasn't March Madness, records. Set records. People watched the women's Final Four more than they watched the men's Final Four last year. The numbers are there, right? So it's kind of, you have to get over the fact that it's like, oh, well, I don't like women's basketball because it's not exciting. It's not exciting to you. What exactly are you drawing from it? Because if you're comparing the two, you can't compare the two. They're two different styles of play, sports, personalities, experience altogether. Men's and women's basketball is completely different, right? But if you're able to watch it for what it is, like I'm not sitting there watching men's basketball like, oh gosh, look how wonderfully executed that play was. I'm not doing that. But on the women's side, I'm like, oh, wow. Did you just see that genius play? They tricked him here, layup. So, I don't know. That's my only thing. It's going in the right direction, whatever. We're past the commercials. We're on to, like, can you just watch women's basketball on TV and talk about it? That's where we're at. You know what I mean? We don't need the balloons. We don't need a blimp. We should just turn the TV on and watch the first round of women's basketball. And it is going to be in Minneapolis this year, which is terrible. But yeah, I've been for the men's Final Four. And so, yeah, and we're going to go to New Orleans for the men's Final Four this year to do some networking and just, see New Orleans. But the women's Final Four this year, I think is going to be like the minimum, right? Like I feel like the whole tournament altogether is about to be an experience. So I would just look at the venues, see the games. When you can find them on TV, if you watch them on, just turn it on because when you watch TV, your viewership matters, right? They count you. Boom, there goes another head that watched women's basketball this year for the tournament. Let's keep investing more money. Let's keep doing this, keep doing that. So that's really where we're at right now. We're not asking you to continue to make commercials. We're not asking you to photo stuff, whatever, right? We're asking you to watch the tournament. We got another one. Ohio State, Illinois, Purdue, Indiana, Rutgers. Yeah, there's your Big Ten.
He's mad. Ohio State?
That's your Big Ten. That's your Big Ten.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Okay, first of all, ridiculous. Ridiculous, Rutgers. I always root for Rutgers. I really do. I love them. No.
Who else shouldn't be in there? Everybody else should be. Ohio State, maybe?
And I'm also going to say this. I really love Tom Izzo. But come on now. I really love Tom Izzo. I really love Michigan State. Go green.
He's actually missing Wisconsin.
What? I still don't understand. That's another one. This is so wild to me. NCAA committee.
There's 10, Faye, because they're missing Wisconsin. There's 9 there, so they have 10 teams.
You know that the Big 12 is better than the Big 10, right? This year in men.
I agree with you.
No. And like normally the ACC men is terrible this year. But when we talk about style of play and like the difficulty of some of these teams, this is the eye test all over again. And now after we hop on this call, I'm going to look into who's on the NCAA committee for the men's side. Seriously. How many representatives do we have from the Big Ten? And they're not wrong. They got elected for those positions so that those schools can get into this tournament. That's the point. We had Nita King, who was out of the AD at Duke. She was out of the NCAA committee my last 2 years. So we still got a bad region, but it's crazy to me, this whole process. If I was a school that got snubbed, I'd be upset. Yeah, but we're gonna put together those Final Four teams and put them out. Who we think is gonna be it?
Take a breath, Faith.
No, it's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. If a Big Ten team does not make it to the Final Four this year, we have to have a very strong conversation because we keep putting them in the tournament. We do. We keep putting them in the tournament. We're doing it. We're doing our job. That's all I'm saying. Maybe the Big Ten team needs to go back to,
Well, he has Iowa in there twice, though. Okay. He has Iowa in there twice.
Yeah, he does. Whatever. Yeah, Michigan State should have been a hard discussion. Because think about the only teams in there: Illinois, Purdue, Iowa, Michigan just got in last week with their win over Ohio State. With their win over Ohio State, Michigan State got in because it's Tom Izzo.
Well, they beat Wisconsin at the end of the season. And
he's a legend.
Yes.
It doesn't matter. Kansas State beat Texas Tech. Kansas State beat Texas. It doesn't matter.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, we're starting to see like rankings. Like, if you beat a ranked opponent, it doesn't matter. Like, it's just what it is. It's your strength of schedule and the eye test. Right? So, like, how do you come off? Is this a team that could actually beat people? Is a team that we've seen do things like that? You have to pass the eye test, and you got to have a good strength of schedule. That's why another reason why Duke women is a 4 seed, which I thought was very generous. Because their strength of schedule was bad. It was bad. It was not strong at all. So we'll see. Once again, NCAA committee is hilarious. It's hilarious. It is. So I'm telling you right now, if a Big Ten team does not make it to the Final Four, I'm going to say something. It's ridiculous. You're 100% right to ask the question you did: is why do they not pan out in the last 5 years?
But I like your analysis on what regarding the solid play.
Right? Yeah,
it's slow.
Yeah, it's slower. It's not slow. It's slower.
Right.
That's the thing, right? And it's more. They value possessions more. That's it, right? If you look at the possessions in a Big 12 game, so I'm thinking about Baylor, Kansas.
Quick.
The possessions for each team, let's say 40, 50, compared to the Big 10 would be 25, 25, right? So it's value possessions. Right. We're going to have these 30 seconds, and we're going to execute, or we're going to not. Then we're going to play 30 seconds of defense. And then here and there, we'll throw in up and down, up and down, up and down. But they value possessions significantly more than most conferences. So, oh no, it's just how solid play. And you know what? That might be a reason why fast or out of control guards may struggle in the Big Ten, because they have to adjust. Mm-hmm. In comparison to they're in the Big 12, they go lose the ball, they're gonna get it back in 5 seconds. So
right.
I don't know. You never know. But yeah, so wonderful show. We're gonna put those Final Four teams up on the Facebook so we can get it, and then we'll also release what the prize is gonna be. So men's Final Four, you gotta have filled out. Women's Final Four, you gotta fill it out, and then you gotta send it to or comment it onto one of our posts before, let's say.
Let's do it before the Sweet 16.
No, it's too easy. Before the whole tournament starts.
Okay.
Because come on now.
Okay.
Sweet 16 relieves a lot.
So deadline is what, Wednesday?
Let's say Wednesday. Okay. I don't know when it starts. I'm not in it. But yeah. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful show. Thank you again, everyone, for joining us on Faith Family Focus. Thank you, of course, to our platforms, Facebook, Roku, Apple TV, and, of course, our key platform out of Phoenix, Arizona, E360 TV. Again, this is Faith Family Focus. We use our faith as a vehicle to help heal and sustain others on strengthening their family core. And, of course, our slogan.
Let go, let God. Let go, let faith. Let go, let love.
Everyone have a wonderful Monday and a wonderful week. We'll see you guys soon.